So I always thank modeling for being the platform because of which many doors open. And it prepared me, I think, as an actor. Yeah, there will always be this special spot for my first chosen profession.
Dialogues are given and within 15 minutes you have to learn them and say it.
Go participate, Go and don't sit at home. So she was always very encouraging and always pushed us to do better. I had no clue about anything. So like how first mobile phones had antennas, so television sets had antennas. It had to be fixed on
I've
the
seen
roof.
it in Doraemon, like they keep hitting that.
We were always connected.
The family trip to the extreme.
True. I was in a hostel first and then we moved to Outram Lines and everything. On a weekend, there would be a line outside the PCO because all students are trying to get that discount.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tete-a-Tete with Inaya. Today's show is definitely bound to be an interesting one because it's the first time I'm going to be interviewing an exceptionally talented and successful sister duo. Now, I'm an only child, I have no siblings, so I'm very interested to understand the dynamics between my guests who have been trailblazers in their respective fields. So, on the show today, it's my pleasure to welcome sisters Arunima and Dipannita Sharma. One is a supermodel who's walked the runway and was the face of some of the biggest brands in the world. She reached the top 5 of Miss India, winning the Miss Photogenic title, while also making a mark in Bollywood with movies such as 16 December, My Brother Nikhil, among others. Dipannita Sharma, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Inaya.
And sitting next to Dipannita is her equally talented sister, a highly qualified dietitian, a best-selling author, and an Indian television actress, best known for her role in the soap opera Assam. She has created quite the splash in the Indian literary scene with her debut book Avnipur. Arunima Sharma Verma, welcome to Tete-a-Tete with Inaya.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, both of you. I'm really glad to have you on the show. It's truly an honor.
No, it's a pleasure to be with you actually.
It's fun for us as
right?
well.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Okay, so let's start off with an icebreaker. As I said, I'm an only child, so I have no idea what sibling dynamics are like, what a sibling relationship is like, and I'm sure your childhood was very different from mine. So tell me, how was it like growing up? Did you always get along? Were there fights?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. How can you
Siblings
grow up?
cannot survive without a fight, ever.
Ever. I think growing up in the same house, you're like in each other's space, and I feel what happens is the bond happens because you're sharing space and you feel there is nowhere else to go apart from each other, and there is this, and there is this a special bond, friendship, a relationship that no one can come in between.
Someone who's close to your age.
You share
Yes.
everything with each other, which you might not share with others. Like you share with someone something, but with each other, everything.
Yeah.
So that is what a great support all your life.
Great support all your life, and I feel without any judgments.
Without any judgments,
without any
yeah.
judgment. We literally.
And another thing is saying the times are different. How we were growing up, we were outside the house, running around all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
I think we were never. Were we home? When we were kids,
We had to do homework, and after that, God knows what.
Yeah. Also, at the same time, I think we were encouraged, and at the same time, we are individually very different as well.
Okay, so
We
opposites
are
attract kind of
yes,
thing.
Yeah.
we are
But
very
we're
different.
siblings, so not clones. The
Yeah,
people
of
are
course.
sisters. Oh, she's like that. She's like, of course, we are individuals.
Yes.
So
Right,
We
so
are-
your personalities never really clash. You always
there
Yeah,
are certain
thankfully.
similarities,
Huh.
but and a lot of differences.
right.
And I think that brings us together, we always had our own set of friends as well, apart from, but we know, right? So different. Our friend circle's been very different, but we also know that the two of us are our go-to person. She's my go-to person.
I
and
get that
know.
honestly because
Yeah.
I don't have a sibling, but I share everything with my mom. She's like my sibling because she's
right.
She's just that naughty, I'd say. But so like we are different in personality. She's more outgoing than I am, but still like we can really connect with each other.
Absolutely.
Anything I need to say, I can always tell her.
Right?
Okay, yeah. So Dipannita, coming to you, you of course had a remarkable career in the entertainment industry. So tell us more about it. How did your journey begin?
Wow, sometimes it feels like yesterday, that my journey began. It was never planned that way, I think, in a manner. I was studying in Delhi University, in Indraprastha College for Women. I was doing my history honors, and I was literally picked out by some seniors, hey, junior, come, you're going to be part of the fashion show team. It was literally like that. I'm like, what?
That's such a compliment.
So
honestly.
it is so, but you're so unprepared for it. So, it is the fashion show team for the college, and I think I grew up watching shows like Khoobsurat. You wouldn't know, you were too young. So, would she be born at that time? So, Khoobsurat was a very popular fashion sort of show.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of the first fashion style sort of show on one of the channels, Indian channels for the first time in India, and you would see some of the topmost models, of the country, and then there were magazines which my mom would subscribe to, there was Femina and there was, Women's Era, I think, and you would see all of this and you're like, oh, okay, these girls look really, cool, and, but did I ever think I would be part of that? It was too far off, an achievement, I think, at that time.
So that you never grown up like thinking, I want to be in the spotlight, I'm going to work for this, something like that?
Not really, because we both of us grew up, I think, doing plays and stuff like that, which my mom and our Nani would write, because, this was part of our culture, growing up,
singing, dancing.
Being on stage, culturally very active as a family as well, and the two of us, and it was literally like, I think our mom would go participate, go and don't sit at home. So she was always very encouraging and always pushed us to do better, like, be a little more outgoing in terms of doing something else apart from just studying,
of course.
This is also part of our culture from the East, I think, in Assam.
A tanpura, tabla and a harmonium is in the house.
Almost
in every house.
You would go for singing classes, she would go for dance classes, so it was part of her, growing up. All of that was there, but when I came to study in DU, slowly it was like this world opened up. When I was picked for the, I think, fashion show team in the college, it was suddenly like, oh, maybe I can do this, So it was just college, and we would participate in inter-college fashion shows and stuff like that. And slowly from there was this one inter-college thing where I ended up winning a couple of things. One of them was photo reel. So in those days, you had to develop your reel. So it was like a big deal that you were winning like a real free portfolio. So it was like a reel, with which you could, go and shoot with a photographer, and you would get those pictures. And the makeup artist who was doing my makeup for that, and I had no clue about anything. And her name was Yasmin. I always take her name because she was, I think, the first one. Yasmin Rogers is now she's very well known. She does a lot of international work and stuff like that. And at that time, she took one look at me and she said, I want to send you to meet, this lady who was working with one of the magazines, and would you like to do like a fashion feature and stuff like that? And I'm just looking at her going, I don't know, so okay. I mean, I don't mind meeting. I'm still in college, So I went met this lady who gave me a fashion feature in Cosmopolitan, and I'm like, wow, I get to do this and I get paid. So, whatever, even if it's the littlest of amounts, I mean, you're a student, right? And it gave me a lot. I think it was empowering, that, you could stand on your own 2 feet and,
I can imagine.
right? So, it was, I asked my mom, of course, mom and dad, and I'm like, this is happening. So they were like, yeah, do this, but finish your graduation, okay? So I'm like, yeah, that is the purpose I came to Delhi for. So I did that. Then immediately I took part in Femina Miss India, which was also, I got a call, that put in your entries. And I was, then after that, the journey I think started. Then at some point the film audition came in, and I'd moved to Mumbai. And again, I was not sure about whether I wanted to do films or not. I remember having discussions with her, should I not? You don't know anyone. I was establishing myself in the modeling world. But one thing led to another. And it's been a journey so far, which has been rewarding in many ways.
Right. So you'd prefer modeling, I'd say, because that's how you started out.
So I'm someone who's connected to my roots, whether it is my hometown, Assam, whether it's my first profession. So I always thank modeling for being the platform because of which many doors opened. I think the acting doors and auditions, and it prepared me, I think, as an actor, modeling being my base. But do I prefer one over the other? It's a little tough, I think, because now lately I've been acting much more than, I've been modeling. But as they say, there will always be this special spot, I think a soft spot for my first chosen profession, which has given me so much. Yeah.
Of course, definitely.
Yeah.
And Arunima, you're also an actor. You've also acted in several TV serials. So did you enjoy it?
Yes, I enjoyed it. Hours were difficult sometimes, but I enjoyed it always.
But may I say the amount of hard work she has done. There were times, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you here. There were times when I've called her, I've come back from a show, or I have come back from a shoot, from a film shoot or an ad shoot, and I've spoken to her in the morning before I left for the shoot. I've come back and she's still on set. The next morning when I woke up to speak to her, she's still on set. So these were the hours she's done. So
but I'll tell you why it was also fun. I made some great friends, lifetime friends, even today. Course. So they made it fun. The people working there were really good.
So were you inspired by your sister? Was it something you always wanted to do on your own?
See, acting, I think ka keeda bolte na. It was there, like plays and skits. But because she was already there in the industry, you do have that thought. Although I was studying to be a nutritionist or a dietitian or a food, food technology, whatever. But this didn't go away from my mind. Like, I really want to try. It was always there. Not fashion. I wanted to try out acting.
Acting.
Yeah.
Right.
And therefore, auditions and all, I went for several auditions. I don't know how many. You hold the board and write your name and and dialogues are given, and within 15 minutes you have to learn them and say it. So, and then one day got a call from Balaji.
So dietetics
Before
to
Balaji,
acting, quite a long reach.
It was. But somehow I was there in both the fields, for a very long time. Even when I was studying, I knew her, that she was doing this show, that show. I knew her friends. I knew Bipasha very well. I was very much there in that world, although I was studying. So when I stepped into the world of acting, it wasn't something new in my mind. As work, it was new.
You were acquainted with it, but
very acquainted. I was prepared for it, and it seemed. It felt easier compared to my masters, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, the hours were long, but masters, MSc Food Science and Nutrition from SNDT was tough.
But you did it.
I did it.
Yeah,
I finished all of it.
So which did you enjoy more, dietetics, studying, or was it acting?
No, I liked both. One is tougher than the other. I like both. Today I practice. I'm a dietitian because I do enjoy. I do like talking about food. I do like to make people healthier. I enjoy that really.
That she does. Only her older sister does not listen to her at all, I think.
So acting also I enjoy.
But both are like different, so they're different interests for you, but you enjoy both.
Yeah.
Right. So why did you stop acting though?
it was the hours. I wanted to take a break. It became a sabbatical, that's different. Long one. But I wanted to take a break. But my husband, I was already married when I started working in television. So he got a job which required him to leave Mumbai and we had to move to Ahmedabad.
Okay.
And I was like, fine, new adventure, let's go.
Yeah, but she took a call. We discussed this and she said that I want to do this. I want to move with him and then, start a family and all of that. So I think the long hours were sort of getting to her. And today like the television hours as well are much more regulated.
Now it's better.
Much more. There's a lot of clarity in the contracts and stuff like that. At that time she has worked I think 18 to 20 hours.
Yeah,
at one point.
some of the other ones have worked for like days together.
Yes.
Me, I think max I must have worked 27 hours.
Oh wow.
Imagine one stretch.
Wow.
You're all dressed and you're sleeping like this.
Like imagine that. So it can get to you. And I think for her it was a practical call to, do that at that time because she wanted to do it and she made that choice,
Right. I can sort of understand because I'm also very focused on studies, but at the same time I'm also doing several different things.
Absolutely.
So it's difficult to manage, but if you want to do both, there's something in you that just makes you
correct. Absolutely.
do it. Right.
You are creatively inclined, so you would want to try out
Like
these
you
things.
studying is all right. It's something you want to do, but there's just that longing in you to do something else as well, right?
Absolutely.
So what I could gauge from this conversation is that you both had a very nice childhood, a very adventurous childhood, of course, away from devices, everything.
Oh yeah.
We didn't have devices.
Yeah, exactly.
We thank our lucky stars actually. I mean devices I think are great because it makes your life easier and
much
everything.
easier.
But we grew up in very naive, innocent times,
Yeah.
There's a
We
lot
had
of
television. First one was even more interesting. Black and white. Where you was not like this because it was suddenly moving like this.
There are a lot of stories about how every family at that time got the first television sets, and we were in Assam, by the way. So Assam and main parts of Assam also got television much later.
Right.
So I think that happened around the time that Asian Games, when it happened for the first time in the 80s in India, and that is when television sets were allowed to go to the entire country.
Development.
It happened, so we got our television sets, I think, around that time or a little later. Our dad and mom were very also not like, okay, we would go, initially we would go to a neighbor's home. But we...
our Mali would go up on the ceiling, but no, chat pe jaake. So wahan se antenna Kenya.
We had an antenna. So like how first mobile phones had antennas, so television sets had antennas. It had to be fixed on
I've
the
seen
roof.
it in Doraemon, like they keep hitting the antenna.
We have guitar TV sets also. And it worked.
Yeah. Black and white TV set. But yeah, fun days. Wow. We have lived
We have lived.
eras.
So was literature and books a big thing?
Yes, huge actually.
A lot of
Charles Dickens. A lot of Charles Dickens,
David
right?
Copperfield,
God,
Tale of Two Cities.
Yes. R.L. Stevenson, Robert Louis Stevenson.
Yes.
I've read his poems.
Yeah, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That is,
Oliver
I think,
Twist.
Oliver Twist. Yes, that was Oliver Twist was
kind of
Charles
books.
Dickens. Yes,
A lot of Nancy Drew.
a lot of Nancy Drew
Blyton.
as we grew up.
Enid Blyton,
I think, and in Blyton, we liked. Yeah, Nancy Drew was fun. So was what was that? Secret Seven? Was it Secret Seven?
Secret Seven, Famous Five. I've read all of them.
Yeah, all of them, right?
Yeah, the
Naughty
mystery series.
Naughty was something
Naughty,
that
though, I
you
loved.
liked a lot.
I loved Naughty.
I was I was always inclined towards thrillers, which is why I will always mention something like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and the thriller love continues. I think.
Hardy
Loves the
Boys,
horrors.
something like
I
that.
love mystery,
Horror
anything.
movies? You should see
I'm
what
a
you always did.
I love horror movies. Like, I'm a
Huge
big
fan.
fan of horror. My book is related to horror.
Thank you. See?
Yeah, the other side. Yes.
Oh, how lovely. Thank you. See, like she looks at me and goes, Baido. don't tell me to watch horror, because I'll watch this really exciting horror film and I'll share with her and she'll go, I can't watch. I can't watch. And she'll tell me.
It's just that knowledge, it's not real. Like, I don't believe in ghosts as such, so I watch it with
I
that
love how
mindset.
I think I love that. I love how the you're right. So horror is not real, but I love the way it's presented.
Exactly, yes.
The vision of
I have
horror,
a
because
problem
it's
with
not
that only,
easy
how
to
it's
imagine.
presented.
It's not easy
It's
to
that
imagine
vision
horror.
it puts in your head, you know, like...
That is the
Love
problem.
it. I'll send you a new list.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
You should start with my book, honestly. It's a very mild horror.
I would
honestly.
love to read that.
Because when I was
absolutely
a
love
child, like, I still enjoyed horror, but I was not allowed to watch or read hardcore horror.
But of course, like I wasn't,
Now very
you know.
good. You're not allowed. Please don't.
Do you remember? Have you read the book World Famous, the World Famous series? There's one World Famous Ghosts. You know,
Those are
ghosts.
still interesting.
So they're all apparently like real experiences of people across the world. You know, and I used to. And I literally, I was really young and I was reading that, and my mom would always tell me, do not read this in the night, and I would do exactly that. And then I started getting nightmares.
What's the point?
And then my mom confiscated that book because I couldn't sleep, you know. But yeah, fun.
And as a child,
Yes,
it's natural.
absolutely.
So was it natural for you to write a book then, since you had always been in the literature scene?
See, this now, the story, the beginning of it was always there in my head. That like how the main character encounters the otherworldly person. That little bit was there in my head because of a story which was told to me by my mother.
Okay.
It happened to her.
Okay.
That she did see a little girl yeah,
The red dress, the girl in the red dress.
sitting
That.
in a tree. She did see that, and beyond that, of course, it was my imagination. Now, this started in 2013. I started writing
Okay.
it in 2013. Then I stopped. I gave up. I had my child. I had no time. I was overwhelmed.
Yeah, Ahan was born 2014. Yeah,
Yes.
you started before that.
Then I would keep writing to have fun. I didn't know whether I was going to publish it.
Okay.
I would have fun writing it, creating that world. It was my world, and I would be happy there. So I didn't think about one day I'll get published or something like that. I didn't even know whether I'll finish it. But once I did, I was like, let me get this done now.
Right. So it's a children's book, obviously. So was it
but
difficult?
adults have also like enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Mostly children's books.
It's from the perspective of a child, Moni.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
was it difficult to get into the perspective of a child?
No, because I didn't forget what I was.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, like my childhood was very like still vivid in my mind. So I was like, how would I react to things?
Exactly, because when you grow up, you have that level of consciousness that you view things differently. Like you act differently in certain situations. So, I mean, I would feel
I
that
had
it
to
would be slightly
access
difficult.
my childhood. I had to think about it.
Right.
But you know, most of the characters, I said this I think at your launch also, most of the it is actually her. There's so many, there's little
No,
of her in
definitely.
every character.
Right.
Each of the kids.
And sometimes, like childhood friends, some of their characteristics,
Yeah.
I remembered some of them in the night.
So, like
Yeah.
inspiration from your own
Yes,
life, your
yes,
surroundings,
yes,
right?
yeah.
And how did you imagine a world like Avnipur? I mean, it's vivid imagination.
It just happened. Like
Yeah.
once you're in it now, it keeps opening up that imagination.
I mean, imagining is one thing. Even I imagine fictional. I put myself into different
Correct,
stories. Sometimes
right.
I imagine my own, but putting it on the paper for the viewer, for the reader to understand, is a different thing. Like that's a different
So I would
challenge altogether.
write as it comes. Then I'll read it, and then if I don't like it, I will keep making changes to it till I love it.
Right.
And I understand it the way a reader should understand it.
Okay.
So like that.
Okay. Can we see a copy of the book?
Yeah, sure. I have it right here. Here it is.
It's a very happening cover.
Yeah.
Very enticing.
Worked a lot on the cover.
It shows.
It took a long time. I picked out a piece from my book. Okay, this would look good, and we worked on the characters, their looks, and then we had this.
We all went back and forth on it, I think,
Yeah.
a little bit. But yeah, Very nicely done. I love the cover actually.
The
It's very,
colors
very
are
good.
also so like,
Yeah.
sitting well
See,
together.
cover is the first point of attraction with your readers. So I thought this has to be interesting.
I really feel it pulls you in. And I love him.
That's Govind.
Yes.
That's Moni.
That's
That's
Shikha.
That's Shikha.
Yeah.
And he's Pratap 1.
So both of you have always been sort of on the creative side of things, although your respective careers are slightly different, they're slightly tapering, and of course when you make your way in the world, when you find your place, it's sort of an individual thing. So would you say your relationship has stayed the same over the years? Has it changed? How have your careers impacted it?
Between us?
Yes.
Careers haven't impacted our relationship
Anything?
at all.
Wow.
Matlab, it is, you know, what has, I think it has grown.
Okay.
It has grown, which I think is amazing. And the fact that it's been an organic sort of growth, and organically you somewhere, okay, the two of us are making the effort, but it is not like we are forcing anything. You know that this is there. This is not
It's a
going
constant.
anywhere.
It's always
It's a
there.
constant. It is something that is a constant.
comes down. Nothing's
Yeah, and I think we grew up like that, and I somewhere maybe for our bond, I would like to thank my mom, you know, because she made sure that we grew up in an environment where we always knew that it doesn't matter if the world is there for us, but the two of us are there permanently, constantly.
What was moving out of home like? Going away from family, each other?
I
for the
left
first time?
first, na? I left first. I went to Delhi University, and yeah.
I'll tell you what happened at home when she left. I would forget, and mom used to make us lay the table. There will always be one extra plate.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, and I would put it inside. So that
good
happened in the
plates, yeah. Oh, that. But you know, this I still remember. Every weekend. Going to the PCO, you wouldn't know what that is. Ancient days, we were for at least. So when you
for mom's corner.
yeah, so we would go to the PCO because there were no mobiles. Okay, when I moved to Delhi University, we didn't have mobiles yet because mobiles were still like it was a privilege. Very few people, I think, in the early 90s just got their mobiles. It wasn't accessible to everyone, especially not to students. So I would go to the PCO during the weekend and wait for my family's call. And you know, we would especially go on Sundays because it was half rate in the PCO where you could get your STD call, or you could make your STD call as a student, right? And mom, dad, we didn't have, I think, an STD phone at home, so my mom had to go to a specific place and wait for my call, or I wait for her call.
I know the other side of the story is
You know?
making me laugh.
And then eventually, I think mom and dad, over many arguments, managed to get a phone at home, which was an STD, right? STD phone, so that I could call. You
It
know.
would be raining heavily. I have to go. I have to make a call. I have to make a call.
Oh,
so finally, dad said, we'll get one home.
Yeah, because that was only weekends I could manage to speak to my family, and the fact that we made sure that we were always connected.
I think it made the calls all the more special.
Yes, it
because of-
did.
Very special.
Yes, it did. I agree with you. It
Made
did.
you value
It
everything
was
a
a
lot
trip
more.
to the STD booth. I would be also there. I would also. We will all go. Maybe one person will talk, but we are all going. It's a family trip to the STD
True.
booth.
And what would I do in our area? Like, I was in a hostel first, and then we moved to Outram Lines and everything. On a weekend, there would be a line outside the PCO because all students are trying to get that discount to half rate. Okay, so there's a line. You're sitting.
Make a movie on this. It's so interesting.
I'm telling you, someday.
Someday. And I left later for Mumbai.
She left later.
I mean, if you ask what was the change, what do I say? It was a huge change. You're suddenly in a big city from this tiny town. I was scared of crossing roads. I would be with the seniors. One day I'm in the middle of the road. One best bus is going from here. One is going from here. I was like in the center.
How do we cross?
Yeah, I was holding
Scary.
on to my seniors to cross the road. Then I took the bus. Went to the first day. It was frightening. I didn't even have proper change. I didn't know what I was doing. So, and a lot of
I
lot
relate
of
with that
things.
so
Yeah.
much.
Well,
I'm
my
so
God.
dependent on my parents for everything.
But it'll be okay. You'll be fine.
Yeah, eventually. Like my change from Assam to Delhi was a culture shock. Like the traveling by buses in Delhi and stuff like it's very different from how and we grew up in a protected colony actually, back in Assam because my dad was in Oil India Limited as a doctor. So it was protected environment. So straight from there you come and we both chose two very different cities for our education.
Humongous cities.
Yeah, and humongous cities. You remember when I came to see you during my Miss India training?
Yeah. I couldn't meet her. Sadly, I hadn't come back from college.
Okay.
By then.
And I landed up, I think, thinking that I won't have time. And again, no mobile
calls,
phones,
nothing.
okay, no phone calls. Like in 90, I think I had a phone, but she didn't have a mobile phone and I couldn't check with her before, well, what time I should come. So I finished my day's training, like I was at Talwalkar's gym and I finished my day training and I said I should go and meet her, and I bought some chocolates and stuff like that and I went there.
In 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Me and my friends in the hostel.
Yeah, I think your friends more, no? So I reached the hostel to realize that she is not there. But I had come in, I think, my Miss India, one of the outfits that I was using to walk and stuff like that. But Bombay was beautiful, yeah. I
Of
was
course,
in
the
a...
warden must have gone nuts seeing you like that.
Yeah, so there was like a reaction I got when I walked into the hostel, and then I realized she's not there, and I was quite disappointed. I left the chocolates for her,
disappointed.
and I think half the chocolates were over before she reached.
Yeah, no, because you feel bad in a hostel to have things alone. So I invited my friends. But it was over.
It was over, yeah. But they were very sweet, and I was just really disappointed that I didn't get to
Very
meet
nice
her.
girls, yeah.
So that trip, I didn't get to meet her. Yeah.
And there's many stories are there.
Yeah, there's
We
so many
continue now.
stories that really, I mean,
We
mobile
don't have
phones
that much time.
have made it so easy for everyone, that you can plan things and stuff like that. But I have to say there was something special about those days when you didn't plan, you were wondering if you're going to meet the person or not, So, yeah.
And also, I feel you started your professional career while you were still studying. So, I mean, that would have been another experience altogether.
It was. And I did it also sparingly at that time because then I had to, because I felt I had a responsibility to finish my education, because of which I came to Delhi in the Prastha College for Women, Delhi University. And I owed it, I also felt I somewhere owed it to myself, to my parents, and I did that. I'm like, I would do only these many little bit of work in terms of as a model, and then let me wait till I actually complete my education. I literally gave my, I think, final year exams while I was taking part in Miss India,
Wow, okay.
So it was,
Once it started, I feel it kept taking off though. So
It did, yeah. Thankfully, I mean, because I won a title like Miss Photogenic, that sort of, gets you
It opens-
noticed.
naturally
Yeah,
opens
naturally
doors.
opens up. I still didn't move to Mumbai till a year after Miss India.
Okay.
And then I moved.
1999 was it? When you moved?
So
Or
early,
2000?
early 2000 I moved, and 98 I took part in Miss India, and then in a year's time I was doing a lot of shuttling between the two cities, and eventually I made the move.
Right.
Early 2000, yes, and I was staying in a PG, which was also fun. Yes. Mallu auntie used to make me very spicy food, but with a lot of love nevertheless, yes.
So was it difficult to adjust to the spotlight, being under public scrutiny? Was it difficult? I'm sure it was.
Yes, so I think what happened to me was there is this, because you love your job so much, you are not trying to attach yourself to, the public scrutiny as much as, focusing on the work.
Okay.
So of course, like the interviews are happening, or more people want to know about you, which is all, you realize that okay, part and parcel of this, but not to take it too seriously, and what you enjoy doing is much more important than getting attached to the fame, or fame part of it. Yes, it is great to be recognized, you're always thankful, but not to get immensely attached to what people are saying or how they perceive you.
So would you say criticism didn't really affect you when...
So criticism would affect you at some level. Obviously, you're also very young, and you're wondering that, what did I do wrong? All of these questions. So through these questions, you figure, actually, through these questioning yourself and answering things yourself, you realize that at the end that these things are not important. If you've put yourself out there, there will be people who will love you, and there will be people who won't love you so much. And it is okay. It is okay.
And being part of Bollywood, I feel so many films are also sometimes scrutinized to a great extent. Yeah. So how do you deal with controversy?
It has started happening more now.
More.
Yeah.
I feel a lot more now. Actually, everything about you, I think.
Social media has made it more accessible. Everything. So therefore,
it's very easy to give your opinion on anything.
Constantly, and the nitpicking is a lot more now.
Everything is susceptible to some sort of controversy. You can always...
Absolutely. We're that way, yes, because you put yourself out there, you're also vulnerable to all of these things.
Exactly.
But I think staying centered, in your head and mind and soul at some level, I think, and having a great support system from the family and from the friend circle that I have managed to gather, I feel very fortunate that I've had that rootedness.
Of course. Okay.
Yes.
So these days I feel that in the entertainment industry there's this trend of movie actors being offered advertisements. Earlier I think it was more of models being part of advertisements. So how do you think that's impacted the modeling industry?
Modeling industry has, I think, been impacted hugely by it. Like I feel also fortunate that I have transitioned from a model to an actor. So I have, at one point, I had both the careers parallelly. I didn't, just because I signed one film, I did not give up modeling. I continue to do both. Well, now, of course, I feel at this stage, all of it, that, I've transitioned more towards acting.
Right.
But I see it, there's a dilution of modeling as a career. Because I also think now it has become more of just a stepping stone to acting,
right?
Or something else that they would want to do, because when we were modeling, it was a full-fledged career. You're 100% in it,
And there was this show recently, Lakme Fashion Week, where Janhvi Kapoor was the showstopper.
Correct.
Yeah, so she's an actress. She's not a model exactly. So
this is a very interesting question you asked, because I have been thinking about this. It's different.
Very different. I get questions even today, like currently everyone says, your era, it isn't there anymore, and would it ever be back? And I think it's quite tragic that you're considered the last batch of supermodels. No, there should be more, and I think there will be, but yes, there's a dilution, because also, see, the trend of showstoppers, actors being showstoppers begun, right? And because I feel the reach of Bollywood is much more, the reach of Bollywood is deeper.
More traction.
Much more. So the whole point is about, the sellers and buyers, what are they going to look at? You're going to look at viability, you're going to look at saleability, and what sells more, obviously a Janhvi Kapoor or a Shah Rukh Khan sells more, more people watch them. So that is where earlier advertising and everything was aspirational.
Yes.
So it was okay, this section of people, television was not accessible to everyone. So there was these niche, it was niche. Now it's in every little place. It has reached all the tiniest places and villages and small towns, and for the better, you know, and why not? So whatever is reaching there is more viable, right?
So do you think this should be regulated more? Should there be, some regulation that it should be models who are the showstoppers, not actors? I mean, it's not exactly their job, is it?
Correct, but I'm also thinking from the point of view, because I have been in both, and I'm saying I happen to be an actor even now. I feel that it's a tough call, you know, and I really feel that modeling as a career must survive, and I think maybe another era or some more growth will happen eventually, but maybe after a lot of churning and certain changes that will come about organically. There is nothing that you can force.
Right.
There's nothing that you can force right now. The trend is that actors have more reach, so they're going to be be hired for showstoppers. But see, at the end, they do need models for the shows, right? I mean, you can't do a show just with a showstopper. So there you go.
What do you think about her work? Do you like it? I mean, did you like it when you saw it?
When
you saw Janhvi Kapoor's work?
Oh, I actually did not see it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I did not see it. So a lot of times nowadays, I do my downtime and I am not constantly on social media. Sometimes I decide to live under a rock for my own betterment and peace of mind, I think.
Detox.
Yes,
Digital detox.
Yeah, then I'm spending time reading. I'm also doing a mythological play right now, so a lot of time is going into rehearsing that.
Interesting.
Yes, it is very different for me, and it's in Hindi, so there's a lot of I'm having fun doing all of that. So I haven't. A couple of people told me that this time at Lakme Fashion Week, I think quite a few good actors have walked the ramp, which is great. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of it, sorry, but yeah.
Okay. That was an interesting conversation, definitely. So now it's time for a small rapid fire segment. So,
I'm announcing this. I'm a history student. I don't know how to. I'm always working on short notes.
I was about to say one word answer, like
maximum
one sentence.
We'll try. Okay.
So Dipannita, first for you.
Yeah.
Best Indian model.
Best Indian model. Damn. Tough, no? That's very tough, yeah. There's so many, yeah. I think I have always been a big fan of Meher Jaisya. I know short note has to happen every sentence. I've been a big fan of Meher Jaisya, and when we were on the right, yeah, she was like it, I think, and then we managed to be on the cover together of Elle Supers.
Oh wow!
That was I remember sending her a message and saying, such an honor. Love her. Yes.
Okay. Best foreign model.
Best foreign model, I think forever will be Naomi
Campbell.
Yes.
Yes.
I think forever.
Classic.
Yes, absolutely.
Best ramp walk by a celebrity.
Best ramp walk by a celebrity. I think, yes, I remember watching Tabu walk the ramp once in my life. She walked for Rajesh Pratap Singh, and I remember I was part of that fashion week in Delhi. Oh my god.
Mesmerized.
Anyway, I'm a big fan of her, yes. She was amazing.
A ramp walk by a celebrity you did not really like.
You really think I'll answer that? Not answering that. No. Quite a few actually.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay, Arunima. Best Indian children's book.
Indian. Any of the Ruskin Bond books?
Nice. Even I love Ruskin Bond. I mean, his stories are so soul-touching in a way.
Correct.
All his books, I think.
So, he's your favorite author as well?
No, favorite...
Indian?
Indian, yeah. I think
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Your favorite children's book outside of India?
As a child, I liked this book. Oh, I love Heidi.
Heidi. Right. I read it when I was a
I just love it. I mean, I can read it, reread it. Just makes me very happy.
Okay. Your favorite children's show, Indian?
Children's show, Indian. There aren't many actually. I'm not talking about animation ones. As When I was a child,
Yeah.
there was Indradhanush.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't
I
know
don't.
about it. Yeah.
I don't.
You know it. You'll find out.
You know what the actors are in it.
Urmila Matondkar was there as a
Okay, I've heard
child.
of her.
Yeah, of course. She's thing I've heard of Sursi. Yeah, very famous she is. She was a child artist and was it Ronesh Roy? Who was
Akshay Anand.
Akshay Anand. These were all like young.
You forgot there was Karan Johar in this film.
Oh, I
in
didn't
this
know.
show.
I didn't know.
He was an
Wow,
actor
okay.
in Indradhanush.
Google it.
Okay,
Yes.
sure. Okay, your favorite Western children's show?
Again, many.
I remember one.
No, I will think about it.
I remember one. You say.
The fairy tale shows. That
Yeah.
remember?
It was
What
all
was it?
fairy tale show only.
All the fairy
Right.
tales, Rapunzel and whatnot.
And it was
Hansel and
shot like-
Gretel, all
Okay.
those.
And it was shot
amazing.
like a play.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Shot like a play.
These were our favorite Sunday shows. Only
Yeah.
Sunday we used to get.
That is true. Only Sunday, yeah.
I think earlier television used to there were specific hours for like children's
Yes.
news,
Yes.
other
I
serials.
love
so.
how she
It was regulated.
it's so rare.
No, my mom tells me about these things. It's
You're 15, no?
16,
You're
yeah.
16. Just see,
Yeah.
it is a different era for her. I mean, of course it is. I mean, it was more regulated,
Yeah,
and that's, anticipation of waiting for your Sunday. Because at Sunday, we would literally start watching television from 10 in the morning while eating our breakfast. Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, there was Sherlock Holmes going into
Jeremy
something
Brett.
else.
The Jeremy Brett.
Then there was a Spider-Man animation. Then there was going to.
Mickey
I
and
literally
Donald show.
remember. Mickey and Donald show. Amazing. Yes.
Okay, now some sisterly questions. One annoying habit of Dipannita.
बहुत सारे
Too
क्या
many.
बताऊं?
Too many.
Annoying habit.
Yeah.
Missing phone calls. And
Sleeping too many hours.
sleeping more than beyond 10 o'clock. I would like to talk to her at that time. She's not available.
Listen, I've improved. Okay.
Yeah, she has improved.
And for you, for Arunima?
Arunima, she has OCD. She has OCD. I used to make fun of her all the time. I said, if you put, you will wash vegetables with soap also. Like she's a
During the pandemic,
germophobic.
I mean,
So when the pandemic happened, this is the first call I made to her, and I said, "We have all become you. Finally, we have all become you." She has OCD. I think that's the and meticulous to a point. Like I'm like, okay, sometimes just it's okay to chill.
relax.
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay, one thing you love about the thing you love most about your sister.
Everything about me.
Yeah, everything else. So all of these things that are bad about her are also good about her in a manner, right? So
Yeah, it's
meticulous. Yeah, so meticulous is very good because I'm not, and all of this is actually quite admirable in her. The way she has managed to do her career and her home, I think it's very admirable. She's a fantastic mom, and I see her.
If I'm fantastic.
It's okay. He's a button. I love him. So all of these things and the way she manages everything, I think she's a great cook, and she makes the healthiest food and the tastiest food. I used to
Definitely.
never connect healthy with tasty, but she does. She does.
Dietitian.
Yes, I know. Absolutely. I need to start listening to her.
And what would you say about Dipannita?
Love, she just likes whatever I do, as you heard. Like this blind sisterly love
Aw,
gives me so
okay.
much confidence.
I get that.
Yeah, like the biggest cheerleader in my life. Whether when I was working in television or writing the book, it was really nice to have her by my side.
I would imagine. Okay, that was a wrap on the rapid fire and a wrap on the interview as well. Thank you so much for being here on my show. I really enjoyed talking to you. I'm
Same
sure the
here.
viewers also really enjoyed our conversation.
It was wonderful talking to you, Inaya. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes,
Thank
Inaya,
you.
thank you so much. The questions were very interesting. This was fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much, viewers, for tuning in to this episode of Tete-a-Tete with Inaya. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.